13 months ago, a YouTuber named RecRap tried to set the record for most melons farmed in 100 Minecraft days.
Today, I redeem myself by farming not 1, but 10 million.
He ended up farming 3 million, losing his own challenge by 7 million melons. Now, a year later, he's re-attempting to beat his record, and this time, he won't be doing it alone. Because along with me and up to 10 players at a time on a rolling schedule, we're gonna attempt to farm 100 million melons.
Leading the 4 speedrunners, they're gonna have first dibs on all resources, iron, food, so they can get started as quick as possible. Me and Jumper heading over the hill to that village. Burssty and Willer are going to that village with your assigned tasks. Okay, 3, 2,
Good luck,
1,
guys.
go! Let's go!
At this point, I had my work set out for me. First, I was gonna have to acquire 5 librarian villagers with 5 different enchantments before the speedrunners group beats the game and comes back with the elytras. The coordination on this is insane. Oh my gosh, there's so many villagers. Yes! And within a day, I was already building these villager holes. A design by ENX04 that was gonna help us get enchants for all our tools and gear as soon as the speedrunners come back from the end. Because of that, I only have 4 in-game days to trap these villagers and roll them until they offer the books we need. Oh my gosh. Oh, I got a mending.
Nice.
Oh, wow.
Nice. Start getting those.
And in a stroke of luck, I already have one of the 5 books I need. At this point, I was already 2 days ahead of schedule. I have a mending locked in, and I'm gonna try and lock it as silk touch now.
Dude, we're gonna have mending and unbreaking for all the elytra people, like when they get back.
Yeah.
Maybe even.
Oh, that's so good.
Looting 3.
Nice.
It's locked in. I've also locked in the mending and silk touch.
Nice.
You're probably wondering why getting these before day 4 is so essential. For that, I'm gonna have to show you this chart. This is called the Gantt chart, and it was created by a real-life engineer to help us stay organized during this event. Every single person online has a task they need to stick to, otherwise we won't even be able to get close to 100 million melons. And as I was waiting for RecRap to help me with the villagers, the speedrunners team beat the game. Let's go!
Oh, nice!
The speedrunners were way ahead of time, meaning I had even fewer days to deliver them these books. Thankfully, RecRap came to the rescue with some brand new villagers.
Okay, villager 1's coming.
There you go, it's
Did
in.
you get it?
Yeah, I got it. Now I just need to keep rolling them until I get what I need. And at this point, it's just up to the RNG. Unbreaking, there we go. All right, I've locked the unbreaking. Now I just have efficiency left. I think I got it.
Nice. Awesome.
And just in time too, because the people with the elytras literally just got back as soon as I locked it in. As 2 of my other tasks were already being completed by other players, I decided to take some time to check on everyone else's progress. So, in that time, what have we achieved? For starters, we have a working wood farm, which used correctly can destroy an entire dark oak tree in a single explosion. Plus, we have a level 30 enchanting table and a smelting array. We're only 5 minutes into the video and it feels like we've already done so much. However, this is barely scratching the surface of what we actually have to do. After half an hour of just smelting glass, which honestly I felt kind of useless doing, I decided to pay a visit to Switch Was Taken and Force of It, who were apparently doing a massive project where they were digging out a whole chunk. He said it's 28 blocks out in either direction from the
because the
from the crafting tables. That's
or I think is it 28 or is it 29? I think it's 28.
I had the absolutely ingenious idea to create an entire barrier out of dirt so they could actually see what they were digging out.
So we are currently trying to make a slime farm, and in order to do that, we need to drain out a lot of this. But our goal, pretty much, drop this entire terrain to Y55 so that we can make a slime farm.
How long do you think it's gonna take?
Honestly, I'd probably say like another hour or 2.
By helping them out with this project, I'd inadvertently shuffled all my tasks around, meaning the Gantt chart basically meant nothing past this point. However, considering I hadn't talked the Force of It for a good 1.5 to 2 years, it was great catching up.
Yeah, how was it on the other side? I was with the speedrunners. It was very surreal.
My gosh. They're loud.
They're loud.
Because it was a swamp, there was a lot of water in the way, so we started clearing them out with sponges. Even though it started feeling more and more like this project wouldn't be completed in time. However, I had an idea. This would be a lot faster if we had a haste 2 beacon. I just have to do a little bit of theft. It's my priority and I get to steal what I need for it. Oh my gosh, they have 3 stacks of diamonds. Hold on. Okay. I hope they don't need that. They're gonna be like, where's the diamonds? And I'm gonna be like, what are you talking about? You never had diamonds. That was just a figment of your imagination. Oh my gosh, I have 19 blocks of diamonds. Hold on. Okay.
Wait, is there any leftover iron we could use?
We need 2 more blocks.
Oh, let's go. Yes. These 2.
Let's go.
Insta mine. Now we don't need to worry about moss anymore. Mission success, everyone. Congratulations. With the addition of haste 2, things were gonna get a lot quicker from here on out. Even so, we were still dreadfully behind schedule at this point. Until
Philomma's just saved us. Oh
What do you
my
do?
god. We don't have to fill underneath this, so this makes our lives a lot easier.
Oh, okay.
Oh.
And with that, we started to make huge progress. After so much hard work, we'd finally dug out this entire chunk of ground. Now just to work on the slime farm itself.
I think I got this pattern down here, if you guys see it.
Once you do the outline, I'll probably start filling in everything.
Oh, you guys can start filling it in right now.
Because of how behind schedule we were gonna have to build this slime farm in the next 2 days. All 3 of us were dedicated to building this platform out. I even learned a technique that would allow me to place the blocks way quicker. By lining myself up at the multiple 45 degrees and butterfly clicking, I can sprint along a pre-existing line instead of walking or crouching. This exponentially sped up my placement. And because of the chunk we already dug out, we don't even need to worry about the resources for the slabs. And while I worked on the top, Force of It worked on the bottom with the dirt layers. Woo! We did it. We did the big circle.
Now you have to come do the little circles.
I hate you. After the dirt layers, we pretty much only had to construct the rest of the slime farm, which wasn't going to be as complicated. We have the golem for the first layer, then the second layer, and then we just have the death pit. There you go. Look at that.
So in theory, this should work as long as like we get the chests all hooked up. We might need way more chests.
In theory, we're done. And just like that, our slime farm was almost entirely completed. Afterwards, I found out that I had cut down the amount of time for them to make it by hours, which meant I'd basically saved their entire operation. And that's a lot of pressure to put on just one person, but I'm glad I was able to help out. And just like that, I had finished yet another project. Meaning I now had pretty much no idea what I was gonna do next. In retrospect, throwing the Gantt chart out the window was not really a good idea. But once again, some people made huge progress while I was gone. New farms have been built, the storage system has been upgraded, but check this out. Remember in the beginning of the video, there was that one guy that wanted to build a raid farm? You're doing this so you can build a raid farm.
Yeah, that's pretty much it.
Looks like he's finally completed it. And as I strive to be useful, I also want to take breaks every now and then. So being able to AFK this means I can still be helpful. I just need to learn how it works.
So you have to click every 1.5 seconds.
Oh, okay, and then just...
Yeah, so now you start attacking and you're good.
Honestly, not as hard as I thought it was gonna be. But even then, this is only a temporary arrangement. I still have to make myself useful in other ways. Turns out, the operation also needs efficiency 3 or 4 diamond shovels so we can start getting dirt. And since I was the only person on the server with free time at the moment, guess who got stuck on doing that task? I'm pretty sure I was stuck doing this for a good, like, half an hour with how many times I had to go back for levels. But again, I'm just glad I was being useful to the cause. And after that, I logged off for the day, not knowing what would await me tomorrow morning. My day 1 session time was 7 hours and 41 minutes. And if that sounds like a lot, just wait until you find out how much tomorrow's is. So far, we've farmed 0 melons, but tomorrow, that's all about to change. I'm here. All right, it's 7:30. I woke up because I was like, my people need me. While I was gone, so much happened. The first thing I noticed is that they were finally building the modules. One module is 1 melon farm. However, we can stack them infinitely all the way up to build limit. To better understand what I was supposed to be doing, I pulled up the schematic so I could see exactly how to build this. The schematic in theory is very simple looking, but when I look at it, it just makes me feel intimidated. So I directed my attention to these shulker boxes where all the materials for building out these platforms was gonna be. And seemingly all I had to do was help perform the monotonous task of placing all this dirt. Just like with before, I used the 45-degree angles in order to build this up really fast. Hey, what's up? And at the ripe early time of 8 o'clock in the morning, I just started placing dirt. At this point, I hadn't even eaten anything, so I was just like in a weird funk. And after that entire day of working yesterday, it was still so satisfying to see this finally being built. And despite how boring it was, it still reminded me of how close we were to finally being able to get melons. If only Rekrap was on to be able to see this. He had pretty much gotten off around the time that I had, so he was still asleep. Although in true Rekrapian fashion, disaster struck. No!
No!
My stuff! So luckily, it looked like all my stuff was still in the water waiting for me. Totem. I should probably have a totem on.
Oh, I guess you did just die. I was about to say it's hard to die.
Okay. Like, you'd think with speed 2 that you could outrun their fuse. Still, slowly but surely, we were finally making progress, which is awesome. As I started practicing, it started getting easier and easier to line up and start placing dirt. Even then, it was still an extremely arduous process. The only thing making the process more efficient was the speed 2 beacon helping us along the way. And I'm not gonna lie, for a while, it was pretty much going without a hitch. stage. While I was spam placing dirt on the top, people below were starting to build the farms out, to the point where we can officially say that we have started melon production. Because we were on the server, there was no way of telling what day it was except from the admins. But if you want a rough estimate, we were around day 30 or 40 at this point. We started checking the day counter more and more towards the end, but at this point, we weren't really that worried about it. My main focus, as was everyone else's, is just working entirely on the modules. My entire life at that point was devoted to placing dirt, and for a while, I thought that was gonna be my main specialty for the entirety of the challenge. However, things got shooken up a bit when, Jaren approached me. For context, this is the guy that's done insane challenges in Minecraft, much like RecRap. He was in charge of a lot of the redstone components of the build, so we needed someone else to help him out with setting up a storage system.
I'm gonna hijack what you're doing. You are gonna be placing down all the storage chests. We're gonna do it in one fell swoop. We just need machines. I got machines. I'm machine boy, but I just need the storage stuff finished. Do you know how to do the storage?
No. At least now it looks like I'm about to become his protege. But as I learned, it was gonna be a lot more difficult to pick up than I initially thought. Okay, so it's three of them are horizontal, 3 of them are not horizontal. Okay.
The flying machine, you know how it's like not one straight line.
It's staggered,
like 2 seconds. I'm gonna toss you the last of my chests and hoppers. Then I will be like coming around and like building machines over there.
From then on, the plan was simple. Become the #1 chest placer on the server. As modules got built, I would make sure that those melons have a place to stay once they're farmed. I was the most essential player in this melon operation. Man, I got some big shoes to fill, dude. I'm gonna become the best chest placer this server has ever seen. It's gonna happen, folks. Holy crap, I'm chest bridging. There we go. This one's slightly shorter. I hate my life. With every chest I placed, I could feel myself getting more and more confident. Despite it being almost as repetitive as the dirt placing, it was still something new, and I was starting to love it. This became my job. I was doing nothing but placing hoppers and chests for hours on end. It was incredible. And as the flying machines came in, I realized that this was my calling. I was gonna collect every single melon that was farmed and turn it into sweet, sweet chest loot. I was figuring out the storage system like it was the back of my hand. It became another appendage at this point. And I'm gonna be honest, Jaren created a monster. A melon farming monster. But let's not get ahead of ourselves. I wasn't the only one that was hard at work. On the sidelines, players were harvesting hundreds of thousands of dirt, building flying machines, and building brand new farms to help us complete this challenge. I don't even know if we were behind or ahead schedule, but we needed to get that 100 million melons. At this very moment, it didn't feel like an if, it felt like a when. And this sort of positivity was infectious. Everyone was operating at peak efficiency, and that's exactly what we needed to complete this challenge. I'm done with this side as well. First level storage is complete on everything.
Okay, if you want to do second layer in the back, that'd be great.
I need more. I just ran out of hoppers.
Go yell at Willerhide.
Willerhide.
Yeah, what's up?
So I need those iron things that pick up items and move them.
I'll be with you in a second.
Okay, thank you, Goat.
Here you go.
Yo, let's go. Have some more chests so you can make me more hoppers. There you go.
Wait, how many chests do you have?
I have 8 stacks of them, so take 2. There you
Okay,
go.
yeah.
Hello. I just landed on the 1 pixel gap between a hopper and a chest. Jeez. And despite the fact that we weren't technically on schedule, everyone's morale was still incredibly high.
If I go down with the melons.
Like, I wanted to do this because it seemed really fun, and it is. So.
Yeah, it's really fun. I'm having lots of fun like this.
Okay, awesome.
But positivity alone wasn't gonna save us from what happened next. And you may be thinking, what's going wrong? Everything seems to be working smoothly. There's no way it can go downhill from here, right? But things started piling up. Regardless, I held fast knowing that I was gonna commit my entire day to finishing this project. With how far we'd come, there is no way I was gonna give up on RecRap's goal. But there's no sense in denying the fact that I was starting to get tired. And people were starting to make mistakes. Oh my gosh, it's all coming together so nicely. I've literally been here since 7 in the morning, and now it's finally actually producing melons.
The Burssty, the testing is looking great.
Thank you, genuinely. If you're curious, we have 3 layers of storage on the backside completely finished.
So do we have 2 full layers working?
There are 2 flying machines that are
okay.
working.
I'm hooking up the rest of the wiring right now. So
it's just someone has not made the collection system on this side.
Sorry, I'm giving you guys hour-and-a-half-old problems. My bad.
Because of the work shortage, I was having to go back and forth and craft my own hoppers to keep the storage system going. At this point, my building speed was exceeding the rate at which they could even sustain, so I had to take matters into my own hands. But still, not even for a second did I ever stop stop working on the storage system. And I know every single shot of me placing these chests looks like the exact same shot multiple times over, but you have to think about it this way. I don't think there was a single player who wanted to do this job except for me. At this point, I was just building out of spite. I knew no one else was gonna be able to do it like I was, so I just kept going. And we still aren't even close to this challenge being done. This empty space is eventually gonna be melon farms. There are literally 11 more hours of footage left to go before I'm done with this video. There is so much footage of me just placing chests, which means the best and the worst are yet to come. Besides my crumbling mental state though, how have things progressed since we started? Well, at this point, we have almost 2 full layers of melon farm. That's almost 16 modules working concurrently at once. The storage system was also being used to its full potential at this point, as the sweepers came along delivering melons to the hopper minecarts. This design was absolutely incredible, by the way. The plans were put together by Squilly and Fulham, so shout out to them for making such an efficient and replicable farm. Good news, layer 4 storage on the back end is completely done.
Let's go.
Despite the main focus of the challenge being the farm itself, home base has also experienced some major overhauls since we first started. For instance, the entire village has been terraformed to be completely flat, and storage has been expanded greatly. There are chests for so many things now related to the farm, including leaves, dirt, redstone, hoppers, and more, all labeled and readily available for players to keep working on new modules. This was pretty much the only thing keeping us organized at this point, so maintaining it was essential. Also, if the savannah is starting to look barren, that would be because of the fact that every single inch of dirt was mined for the farm. At this point, players had harvested hundreds of thousands of dirt, which is literally insane. Hold up, one of my friends told me to put on a resource pack and I'm gonna see what it is. Is this what I think it is? Look at him go! This has repaired my mental state. I love this. I love it. He will be my little entourage for the rest of this. Anyone getting wood?
You see this giant wall of resources?
Oh! Makes way more sense. Okay, I'm gonna have to catalog that in my brain hole. And after that, I settled into my new groove and started working for about 4 hours straight. And holy crap, that was a productive 4 hours. I expanded the storage system up to level 5 and the machines are working on 3 out of those 5 levels. Despite the fact we're behind schedule, we're still making steady progress. What is our day count at?
85.
Holy crap.
Wow, nice.
With only 15 in-game days left, there was only so much building we could do, but despite that, we persevered. However, that might be more time than you think. Minecraft typically runs at 20 ticks per second, meaning a full day takes about 20 minutes. However, since this is running on a server and we're loading in thousands of melon slice entities, that number can't stay at 20. Realistically, it's somewhere around 15. And the more farm modules we get up and running, the lower that number gets. So at the moment, a day could be anywhere from 25 to 30 minutes. One thing we didn't realize, however, is how much that TPS was gonna affect us. Right now, we're right here at 15 TPS. In an hour or two, we might be looking at somewhere between 10 and 5 TPS. That's a double-edged sword though, because it does mean we'll be able to build more farms before day 100 passes. But that means however long this takes, we'll have to stay awake to complete the challenge. Right now, I've already spent a majority of my day on this project beginning at 7 a.m. At this point of the recording, it's already around dinner time. Luckily, however, my willingness to help and get to 100 million melons overshadowed every rational thought in my mind. My goal today is to complete this story for RecRap and prove to everyone that I can carry something through to the very end, even if it doesn't pan out for us. If that isn't motivation enough, dude, I don't know what. And now, we're in the end game. And no matter how this turns out, I'm still gonna be happy that I got to take part in it. And before we get to the final hours of this challenge, I'd love if you subscribed and showed some support, because this may very well be my last video. Life has been tough and I'm slowly losing the time to make videos in order to support my family, so any support would be amazing. But now, regardless, we are in the final 15 days, so let's make every second count. As the nights became longer, mobs started spawning more and more, and they started becoming more and more of a problem too, getting into the system and clogging up everything. The only thing keeping them from spawning are these jack-o'-lanterns that are being placed every few blocks, which for the most part is a completely effective strategy. Looking at these lower layers, there are no mobs whatsoever. So that's at least some good news. But crazily enough, as my storage system has started to outpace the farms themselves, I now have to plant seeds to help them out. Not even gonna lie, this is a refreshing change of pace from what I've been doing for the past few hours. Plus, being able to spam click again for the first time in a while is just honestly kind of fun. But what's even funnier is the fact that you can't actually hear any sounds anymore because of the ridiculous amount of entities being loaded. Here's the unedited audio. Yeah, exactly, you're hearing nothing. At this point though, I had more important things to worry about. I installed a resource pack to make it easier to see the seeds, and I started planting. We have to cover some serious ground. And honestly, I could get used to this change of pace. And with my help, melon planting got a huge uptick in speed. It's definitely more repetitive than setting up the storage system, but honestly, I didn't mind. It's insane that we made this all in under 100 days, and we still aren't even done yet. We have to keep building layers for this farm up until day 100. We're not gonna let a single melon go to waste. At this point, it's all about upkeep and increasing the amount of melons that we make per tick. And honestly, the amount we are already producing was enough to break my computer when I tried to load the replay mod footage. So I guess that's a sign we're doing something right. I reached out to the people who made the mod and they have no idea how to fix the footage. So I guess it's screwed. But honestly, at this point, there's not much left to see besides the insane amount of work we were putting into expanding this farm. But once we finally caught up to my storage system, I had to switch back to my main task. I'm just locking in and doing what I've always been doing.
She's like, I'm just still blazing chests.
Yeah, that's good too. We need that.
And I'm gonna be honest, it started getting lonely at the top of the farm. With the remaining tasks we had left to do, minutes of silently placing chests and hoppers turned into hours. It became extremely repetitive. I went between placing chests and going back to help them plant seeds and till the ground for what felt like infinity. In that time, I kind of just turned off my brain. We just kept building the farm, and building, and planting, and building. It felt like we'd never reached day 100, and I was trapped in this cycle of doing the same thing over and over when I had a sudden realization. Remember when I mentioned earlier that the TPS controls how fast time passes? About 2 hours of building later, I installed a mod called TPS HUD so I could see just how fast time was passing. And it came as a surprise to no one that it dropped to around 8. That means days were passing at a mere third of the speed they usually do. A single Minecraft day now was nearly an entire hour, and that set the tone for the rest of these days. As we worked, time slowed down more and more, sometimes hitting 5 TPS. Before we knew it, we had reached our wit's end. We simply had no more energy left to keep building this straight to day 100. Because of that, RecRap decided to give us a break, and we all gathered for the final days to reminisce and finally connect with each other on the top of the farm. We'd been working together for 2 days straight, and now at nearly midnight, we decided to finally let loose and have some fun. Meanwhile, the modules we built worked themselves to the bone farming melons.
3, 2, 1, go.
Oh my gosh.
Wait for the speed, wait for the speed to kick in.
I can't either.
We're about to hit it.
Oh,
yeah, let's go.
That was so cool.
We did it. Up until the end, we did really well. Up until the end.
All right, attempt number 2.
3, 2, 1, go.
Speed's about to kick in.
Oh,
there we go.
Oh, dude, I'm right on your tail.
The speed.
After that, we decided to take a group photo on this pillar over here.
Oh, yeah, baby. Yeah.
It's been a pleasure.
Yeah, okay, everybody throw up on 3.
What?
One.
What?
1, 2, 3.
Blah.
Yeah, I got it.
Then we all tried our hands at some coordinated flying.
Go. Oh, shoot.
Oh my gosh. Okay.
All right, rocketing up.
Go around it.
Oh, yeah, this is so sick.
This put a smile back on everyone's faces. It was genuinely such a fun bonding experience. And after that, we decided to make a house out of completely random blocks in order to wait out the rest of the time.
We get a feel of who has what blocks.
I can put a shulker. Look at this.
Ooh, I got some unique blocks coming out.
Here, I'll put it next to the bed. Everyone needs an anvil bed. Here you go. After all that, we decided to form a circle on the melon helipad and played a game of stat roulette. It's fairly self-explanatory. Whoever has the most of a specific stat wins.
Shulker box is opened, correct?
Okay.
3, 2, 1, send. Ooh, that's me. That's me.
Holy crap. All right, so this one's most deaths.
3, 2, 1.
Why'd you think I died?
Fernando is 0 too?
Dude, so many people have 0. And on the night of day 99, I was the first one to see it. Oh my gosh. Guys,
Burssty.
look east. We made it to 100. Yeah.
100 days. We got 100 million melons, guys.
We totally.
Oh, it's it.
Yeah.
No! Yeah.
Let's go.
That's it.
100, guys. And with that, the game was completely frozen, meaning we couldn't farm any more melons. And with that, we turned in for the night, waiting till tomorrow to reveal the final count.
Thank you all for coming out. This was super cool. This was just an idea like a week ago.
Even if we didn't make 100 million, which
But we did.
I will reveal to you very soon whether we did or not.
Oh my God.
Announce how many melons we got. I don't really know how else to do this. I can't say this very dramatically.
Give him a countdown, everybody.
7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. I've been asked directly by RecRap and Fulham to not reveal the count to you until their videos come out. But if you could comment below with your guess as to what it was, I would absolutely love to see how close you can get. Talk to you later.